So an SQL injection attack involves exploiting websites that just use user input and just insert user input into SQL statements rather than checking whether or not they're legitimate or not. So how this one works is you can simply log in with the correct details and it all works nice and fine. But what happened there was I typed in an email address and this form here from this index.html sent it to this form, and this form just inserted what I typed in as the email. However, if I went to simply type something very SQL-like into here, like this statement here, you'll notice that I can also log in like that, because what happens is index.html sends exactly what I typed in just there to here, and this form just straight up inserts what I've just typed in here. So what the equivalent was is I've just done this. This is the new statement. It's put in what I just typed, which is this, and what happens is it changes select this query from select all from users where email equals what I've typed in to select all from users where email equals nothing or 1 equals 1, which is always true. So, and then it finishes the SQL statement. So this is all that's been run. And then the dash dash just cancels out, comments out everything else. So it's still valid. So this is the new statement that's being run by the web server. Select all from users where email equals nothing and or 1 equals 1. So it's always going to select all users. And when you select all users, that produces a line, which means that, or more than one line, produces all the lines, and the web page normally lets you in when it finds a matching entry in the database for your email and password. But since it's always going to find a bunch of entries, this if statement is always true, and it's just going to go and direct you straight to home.php, no matter what you typed in, because you typed in a new query entry. And we were able to get in with the last user's login, obviously. So the way you can stop someone from exploiting the fact that a server just chucks what you've inserted into the SQL query that the server's going to use is by using a filter. I've made an if statement here that basically uses the filter validate email filter that's available, and it checks whether or not a person's email conforms to the traditional email structure. So, something at something dot something. And so therefore an SQL query couldn't really conform to that specific structure. And how I set it up is if the user input does not conform to this, we'll just go straight back to the login page, the index.php. You won't be put forward. However, if it does conform to this, which means, because the if statement here is if it doesn't conform, if the input does conform, it'll get to the else statement, which is our SQL query. And then it will run as normal because we've checked that someone has input a valid email, and because they have, it will now run.